Hi everybody, it's great to be back here again on Itamar. It's Friday, Erev Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which means we're entering a new month, a beautiful month of Nisan, the month of Pesach, the month of renewal, the wonderful holiday of us leaving Egypt. And of course this week was a fabulous week for those of us here who live on Itamar and for all of Israel, because thank God, I could say thank God, it just shows how healthy and strong the people of Israel are, and that the right side of the government, the right-wing part of the government, Likud and of the Paita Yehudi, the Jewish Home Party, etc., we see how Israel is a very, very healthy nation, and they voted right. Unfortunately, the world has its eyes on Israel, and it's hard to believe that certain leaders of countries didn't come along and even congratulate our Prime Minister yet on his election. The opposite we hear how Israel now is being threatened. Perhaps there will be those who will not support Israel in the UN to veto certain things. Those who are trying to promote an Arab state here in the country, the one country of the people of Israel. How does all this election campaign, the elections here in Israel, how does it all connect to this week's portion, Vayikrah, as we begin a new book of the Torah? First of all, a personal note, Vayikrah always takes me back to 4 years ago, the terrible tragedy of the Fogel massacre here in Itamar, which took place on this week's portion. This year it happened earlier because, of course, the months are never aligned 100% exactly when events take place, but it took place, the terrible massacre on this week's portion, the portion we talk about sacrifice, the portion that we have to understand, the difficult subject in the Torah, to understand what sacrifice is all about. And I'll never forget being present in that terrible, terrible tragedy, that terrible night where a family lost their lives, and to see what sacrifice was all about. A lot of this concept of sacrifice is very, very, again, very, very deep. We have to understand it a little bit. This week's portion opens up, Vayikrah el Moshe, God calls to Moshe Rabbeinu from the Ohel Moed, from the sanctuary. He's calling to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's commanding him on the laws of sacrifice. We know that the whole concept of sacrifice has to do with, the word in Hebrew means korban, comes from the word to be close to Hashem. There's a calling that Hashem is calling us to get closer to Him. And the first sacrifice mentioned in this week's portion is korban ha'olah. What is the korban olah? The burnt offering. It's something that is completely burnt. There is no human intervention here in any way of being able to partake of eating of the sacrifice. Everything is kulo legavo, completely up to the heavens. Nothing for the human consumption here. On the other hand, the next sacrifice the Torah talks about is the shlamim, the peace offering. And these two sacrifices stand on two different corners. Peace offering, on the other hand, is a sacrifice where even the simple layman, the simple person, could partake. It's called kodeshim kalim, a light holiness. It's a low level as far as holiness, that it can be not only in the sanctuary area itself. We're talking about being able to be in the walls of the city of Jerusalem as kodeshim kalim, a light sacrifice. A light kodshim means a light holy. The whole. Translating words sometimes be a little difficult here in English. Kodeshim means the whole subject dealing with sacrifices. There are different levels. There's holy of holies and regular, like a lower level of holiness. But the question here at hand is, what is a higher kind of sacrifice? Is the burnt offering, which is completely burnt to heaven, and nothing, again, no human being can, Kohen, the priest, cannot eat of this sacrifice, or this shlamim sacrifice where, it's offered to Hashem, but also there's a human involvement, he can eat from it, etc. What is higher? What is a higher level of sacrifice? And according to the Zohar Kadosh, he says something very, very amazing. The Zohar Kadosh, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, says that the shlamim is higher even than the olah, which is very interesting. And the question is why? Why would the shlamim, which we said is a lower level kind of sacrifice, that it can be eaten anywhere in the walls of Jerusalem, unlike the burnt offering, which can't be eaten at all by anybody? Why would that be? Why would the shlamim be higher than the olah? And the Zohar says something. When he says something, we have to really try to understand his deep words, what's behind it. And he says something else as well. He says that the olah, sacrifice, is connected to the north, the tzafon. As we know, it is slaughtered in the northern part of the temple. On the other hand, the shlamim sacrifice is connected to the south. We know in our esoteric teachings that the north represents din, judgment. On the other hand, the south represents kindness, chesed. So there's also a connection here in the directions of where each sacrifice was built. Not only that, the olah, the burnt offering, was only male animals were used. On the other hand, the shlamim could be used male and female, so it combines the two words of male and female. This is what is also mentioned in the sources when we try to figure out and understand what it means. In order to explain this whole concept, we have to realize that there are two forces that we've spoken about many times over. And one of these forces is, we call them, I call them the holy forces, that come down to the world. One that we say is the divine light energy, that we call it, the divine abundance. This is known as the dechura, the masculine aspect, which comes again in direction from heaven to below, coming down to earth. And then there's another force that we call the Shekhinah, the divine presence. The divine presence is really the vessel we make on this world, that the divine energy comes down and enters a vessel. Because what happens is, a lot of times, there's always tremendous spiritual energy which can't be stopped in any way. But if it doesn't have a vessel to receive the spiritual energy, then it sort of remains in a very, very high, lofty place and can't come down. The highest aspect, really, of a connection to Hashem is to show the entire world, to be a light to the world, to show that the divine presence lies in a physical world, down here on earth. And that is the difference of a burnt offering and a peace offering. A burnt offering represents, it goes up, it's sort of connected and remains in that higher plane. But the highest level, what the Zohar is hinting to, is when we bring something down to this world. And that here, the shlamim offering, the peace offering, where everyone could partake of it and eat that, that is something so high, because we're showing how the holiness enters this entire world and a physical world down here below. This whole connection, this very deep connection, connects to the elections we spoke about. The elections in Israel. The people of Israel reflect a concept called the Shekhinah, the divine presence. And why? Because again, what does it mean to be a chosen nation of Israel? We're not going to get into the concept now, but a chosen nation, part of the concept is realizing that through Israel as a vessel, as a pipeline of divine energy, to be able to be a light to the nations, God's word, God's message, the prophecy to the world must flow through the pipeline of the people of Israel. From Israel, it's supposed to go to the world. This is how it connects the energy of the divine throughout the entire world. Israel is very unique. This week we had a group come they came from all over the world, from England and from Canada, from the United States. And one woman was talking to me, she was saying to me, she's so impressed here visiting Itamar, that she sees how the land, the connection of the people so much to the land. And the answer is, of course, we are so connected to our land as a people. There are three pillars. One is called the pillar of the Torah. It's a very strong pillar. The next pillar we talk about is the pillar of the land, of course. The land and the Torah, and of course, the Kudsha B'Ruach, the divine, the connection to Hashem. But those pillars, the connection to Hashem, has to come through the pillar of the Torah and through the land of Israel, through the people of Israel. These three pillars, we say, Torah Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, the land, the Torah, the people of Israel, and the land of Israel all connect together. And connect together, bringing down the message of Hashem like a tripod. This tripod is so powerful. And from here, it spreads the word to Hashem, or the word of Hashem to the entire nations of the world. This great concept, getting back to what I was trying to say, this woman was asking me, she saw the connection of the people of Israel to the land by seeing each of how much we're connected to the land here. What is this all connected to the elections for? Because, as I mentioned before, the people of Israel, they reflect the divine, they reflect the Shekhinah, the divine presence, which throws through the people of Israel. And we see how Israel is standing strong. Israel is no longer a galut, the diaspora-minded nation. We are now in the land now. We are now reaching our independence finally. It's a process. And we're saying to the world, we are strong and we are steadfast. And we know that Hashem will stand with us, although the entire world is now isolating Israel and trying to push, God forbid, a catastrophe upon the people of Israel with a Palestinian state. There's nothing that exists. This concept of Palestine does not exist. Get it out of your vernacular, those who are using that expression. There's only one room for one country here, the country that Hashem has given to the people of Israel. And from here the message of the divine message will come to the entire world, will bring a light to the world. We spoke about this times and times again. The elections show how beautiful and connected the people of Israel are, tapping into the holiness, that they will not allow, again, God forbid, as we say, never again, another, galut, exile. We will now, in the land, we're going to build our third temple, we're going to remain strong and steadfast. And this is all reflected in the sacrifice of the Shlamim, representing the wholeness, completeness. The people of Israel are healthy and happy, and this offering comes from a simcha. Being happy in the land and being strong and steadfast in our land, we can spread the message of the divine throughout the entire world and do our mission. The burnt offering represents another aspect, an aspect of complete self-sacrifice. And as we saw, and I mentioned before, the Fogels is the portion that they left the world and they gave their lives for the people of Israel. Self-sacrifice is what Israel has endured throughout its history, giving of their lives for the sake of the oneness of Hashem, of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, persecution throughout the generations. And that self-sacrifice, that olam, as we call it, more than their share, they've given that self-sacrifice to show the oneness of Hashem. But together with that comes the greatest level of bringing that down on earth and building a third temple, building a nation here. The peace offering and showing how we will be. Peace could also mean shleimut, oneness, as we say, Eretz Yisrael Shleima, the one land given to the people of Israel. From here, the message will reach the entire world. Shabbat Shalom, Besorot Tovot, Yeshuot V'Nechamot. Have a great Shabbat. It should be great tidings for all of us. And God willing, we'll meet again very soon again here. Come and visit Itamar, everybody. Wait for you to come. Shabbat Shalom. Bye-bye.